Call our meeting to order. Will we stand on the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time I'd like to call for a moment of silent meditation. Thank you. First item on the agenda would be approval of our minutes from our last board meeting. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, do I have a motion for approval?
I move that we accept the minutes from the October 23rd meeting.
Do I have a second? Second. A motion was made by Mr. Norvell and seconded by Mrs. Malone that the minutes from our Monday, October 21st, 2019 meeting be approved as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion is carried. Under Director's Report, I'd like to start with the management reports from the managers that are present. If you could just give us a little bit of an overview of your report, please.
Okay, so the board of darkness, we currently have 2 vacancies. There was one unit that was actually housed this month, and one that was a move out, and that was due to receiving a voucher through Section 8. The other unit that is empty right now, that is a unit that is under modification. For Lakeland Estates, there are 5 units that are empty currently right now. They are in the process of having one of the units. Another of the units that's vacant was due to a transfer because of the infestation of the roaches, and we had that as well. So process for applications has already begun to get those units that are still vacant right now filled by the time maintenance is able to have it completed. For any extra activities that were done, it was just the general activities, but we also were able to provide flu shots by the home care service for our seniors here. There were only approximately maybe about 7 or 8 people that showed up, but we did also extend the interview where they wanted to have the shots given at their own home, that they would be willing to come into that, so we just have to give them a call.
That's good. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Kelly, do you have anything to report at this time?
Nothing that other than enough on the report.
Okay, you want to just kind of give us the highlights of that report?
We turned over 3 rehab within the report. 206 7th Street, number 7. 417, number 4, and number 4, 338 College. We completed 52 emergency work orders within 24 hours. 9 emergencies, we did 199.
Okay. Can you give us an update on what's going on out at Lakeland Estates with the repairs and some of the yard work and things that we were asking you to look into?
What do you mean by yard?
Well, getting the shrubbery away, getting the downspouts taken care of, those kind of things.
Downspout just got in, I picked them up last Thursday. Right now we're working in rehab. So I haven't had no time to schedule putting the downspout on because we had snow this week and that takes up most of our days. And currently we got guys that got to take off personal time before they lose the time, so the staff has been shorter for us. And we had one of the temporary guys out there working on the front trying to get the front come up better.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions?
Your non-emergency work orders, what are those right now consisting of? I know we're getting into the cold months. Have you already seen an increase in heating issues or anything at this point?
Yeah, that's the
Really?
number one thing now. I mean, the furnaces are always breaking down, so we doing it daily, especially over the weekend. So no heat calls. And the non-emergency is like when people call and, you know, hole in the wall and stuff like that. We take care of that stuff as we can.
Okay. But those heating costs, you guys put those at
The
the
heating,
top?
yeah.
Heating, plumbing, that kind of stuff, you go first. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. From our inspector, you want to give us a highlight of your report?
Just the number of pass and fails. Just the number is 560, section 8, and doesn't go on.
Dan Morgan. Are there any questions for Mr. Morgan? When you have move outs and you've got deficiencies, you've got 34 out of 59 for 57%. What does that mean?
34 failed or had a deficiency out of the number of total. You had the number that failed and passed to get your total number of inspected.
And for re-inspections, were there, am I reading this correct, there were no re-inspection letters sent, or were there some sent?
There are re-inspections, they're all just total in with the total number of inspections.
I don't know. I think I would like to see your re-inspections, if you could list those. Is there any way you can list those separately so we...
Separate from the annuals, you mean?
Yes, so we know if it was a re-inspection, because you've got it listed here, re-inspections, letters sent out to homeowners, but there's,
There'll always be re-inspections if there are deficiencies or fails, but yeah, I'm just trying to separate those.
okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Mrs. Wilson is not present.
No, that's notification.
Okay. Are there any questions on her report? Is there anything, Mrs. Thomas, that she wanted us to know? We have, it says we have 57 vouchers open. And what does that mean?
The 57 open, over the 57 we can't lease. That means we have them open, they have to stay open. We have a total of 371, and our budget is based on our unit month lease. If we lease up all 371 of those vouchers, we would not have enough money to pay the landlord. So that's why we have to keep some of them open.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Mrs. Thomas, do you have anything to report?
Mrs. Allison?
Mrs. Allison, do you have anything to report at this time?
No, it is not.
Mrs. Thomas?
You don't have a financial, like I said, you don't have a financial report in there. The fee account is still working on our September books because they're trying to get information together for our November submission to HUD to react. We had our react inspection today for the Harborside duplex in 8 homeownership units. After his report, his inspection was done, he came back with 1 fail. And I talked to Mr. Kelly about that today, so he's gonna go out and take a look at that, and maybe it's 24 hours to repair those, and then we'll get the full report once he uploaded to React. Do they share that report with you all when it comes through?
Do they come back out to make sure we've done the corrections?
No, they don't, not React.
Okay.
I'm also working with Andrew Obermeyer, he's in town, from Water and Energy, Wind, Water and Energy. We just set up notification for the request for funds from HUD, and we have to wait until there's a period where public comment can comment on that, and I think we have 15 days that is going to run on on Wednesday, so at the end of the 15 days, I can request in December for funding from HUD for Andrew to proceed with what they're doing is they're replacing some of the outdated light fixtures that we have, shower heads, aerators. It's a kind of energy conservation things that they'll be installing at this time. Hopefully, by the middle of next year, hopefully we can start on some of the furnaces and boilers for both our garden and our scatter site house.
Okay. Any other questions for any of our managers or our executive director at this time? Do I have a motion to approve the management reports as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion was made by Mrs. Babb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Norvell. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Under committee reports, so I have a report from the Personnel Committee at this time.
Madam Chair, there's no report from personnel.
Okay. Asset Management Committee.
Madam Chair, the Asset Management Committee is recommending the approval of the cash management policy.
Okay. And everyone has had a chance to review it. Are there any questions? Is that recommendation in the form of a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Maloney, seconded by Mr. Norvell, that the cash management policy be approved as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion is carried. Moving down into old business. The first one is the Applegate report, and we had that report that can be taken off the agenda. We talked about that last time. And we've received that report and discussed it, and there's no other changes at this time. So we're satisfied with our Applegate report. The next one is under old business is union negotiations. And do I have...
Madam Chair, one of the union negotiations will be meeting again with the union to try to finalize the contract for 20 year.
Okay, so you're going to be setting up another meeting with, sometime in December with the union, try to complete negotiations?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and we'll look for a report at our next meeting. Okay, moving right along then, under new business, CMAP certification. Mrs. Thomas, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Every year we have to do a CMAP certification for HUD. It's kind of like a report card on whether or not you're doing what we're supposed to do before. select people from the waiting list. We pull them from the top of the waiting list the way it's supposed to go. If we're using the reasonableness to calculate rent. Our utility allowance schedule normally comes from HUD, and that's approved sometime in, I believe, January. The HQS quality control inspection, that's where we go out and do a sample of the inspections that the inspector has already taken care of. And it also involves if we are not paying landlords if the unit failed. They have 24 hours if it's emergency, and I think 30 days if it's non-emergency, I believe. Those are some of the inspections that Andy does, but Mr. Kelly's the one who normally do the re-inspections for us for certification for this purpose. You can't inspect our own properties in that sense. HUD sets a payment standard that comes out in the month of October. So all of that is included in here. It's just a report card to show that we're doing the things that we're supposed to use to, when we house people in our Section 8 program. And I believe end of December, 1st of January, that's when HUD gave us our score last year. I believe we were 96%. And that was just based on everything that we had as far as our written policy, if we're sticking to the policies, and we have to do everything by the book when it comes to CMAP certification. It's due October the 30th of every year, and I usually like to go through and make sure that we have everything in order. So when HUD, if they decide they want to do an audit on it, that we have backup paperwork to go along with it.
Okay. All right. And you need a motion to approve this?
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Motion was made by Mr. Malone. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And seconded by Mrs. Davis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. Legal quotes. And Mrs. Thomas, this is for our attorney representation for the board, and I gave that information to our personnel committee to review so that they could come back with a possible recommendation for us.
Is it personnel or asset management?
Did I say asset management before?
No, yeah, you did.
Okay, I stand corrected. Asset Management Committee. Okay. All right. The only thing that we have on our pending items list, need to review our pending items list to make sure that we have everything on there. I don't see the pending. I don't have a pending items list. No. Since we do not have it, we cannot review it at this time. We'll make sure that we have it for our December meeting and that it will be reviewed and updated. Approval of bills. We do have one from Applegate and Company. We have the invoice in the amount of
$4,070.
Okay. Do I have a motion to go ahead and make that payment?
I make a motion that we pay the payment of $4,070 to Applegate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion was made by Mrs. Davis and seconded by Mr. Norvell to go ahead and make the payment to Applegate and Company. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion is carried. I have no other things on the agenda to come before us tonight. It's now open to the public for comment. It's good to see you back. Didn't see you at the last meeting.
Does it have any comment?
Do you have any comment at this time? Okay.
Thank you.
If there's no other business to come before us, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.